How I passed an exam without answering a single question. I'm not proud of this. Okay, maybe I am a little proud. But what happened that day defies all logic, reason, and basic rules of education. I walked into an exam completely unprepared, didn't answer a single question, and somehow walked out with a perfect score. Was it a glitch in the system? A cosmic prank? Or did I unknowingly unlock some kind of supernatural ability? I still don't know. But here's how it happened. So, here's the situation. I had a huge exam, one of those final tests that determine 50% of your grade. And like the responsible student that I am, I completely forgot about it. Seriously, I had zero preparation. I didn't open a textbook, didn't attend a single review session, didn't even know what subject the test was on until the night before. By the time I realized how screwed I was, it was too late. I thought about skipping the test, but I already had too many absences. If I didn't show up, I'd fail automatically. So I did the only thing I could do. I walked into that exam room fully accepting my academic death. The silent panic attack. I sat down, the teacher handed out the test, and I flipped it over. It was worse than I imagined. I didn't recognize a single question. Not even one. It was like the exam was written in ancient Greek or some kind of alien language. I tried reading through it, hoping that maybe something would spark a memory. Nope. Nothing. Brain empty. So, I did what any rational person would do. I put my pencil down, leaned back, and accepted my fate. I figured I'd just sit there for an hour, make it look like I was deep in thought, and then quietly turn in my blank test like the failure I was. After about 20 minutes of staring at the paper like a caveman trying to understand Wi-Fi, I had a thought. What if I just submit the exam without answering anything? Not in a turn it in and walk out way. No, I meant literally not writing anything at all. Just to see what would happen. So, instead of answering the questions, I just flipped the pages slowly, pretended to be deep in thought, and then, after an hour of this nonsense, I walked up and submitted my completely blank test. The teacher gave me a weird look, but I just nodded, walked out, and accepted my academic doom. Fast forward a week later. Grades were posted. I braced myself for the big, fat F. But when I checked my score, 100%. A perfect score. I refreshed the page. Still 100%. What? At first, I thought maybe the teacher hadn't graded it yet and this was just a system error. But nope. People in class were congratulating me. Even my teacher, who never liked me, stopped me in the hallway and said, "Great job on the exam. You really nailed those trick questions." Trick questions? Bro, I didn't even write anything. At this point, I had so many questions. Did my blank test get swapped with someone else's? Was there an answer key printed on the back that I didn't see? Did the teacher just assume I was a genius and give me an A for vibes? I needed answers. After some intense investigation, aka asking my nerdy friend Ryan to look into it, we found two possible explanations. Theory number 1. The grading system was rigged. Apparently, our school had recently switched to an automated grading system. Instead of teachers manually scoring exams, a scanner read the answer sheets and calculated scores. If there was a scanning error, it could have accidentally marked my test as perfect instead of blank. Basically, I hacked the system by doing absolutely nothing. Theory number 2. My teacher assumed I was some kind of genius. This one is more ridiculous, but Ryan had a point. He said, "Dude, what if your teacher thought you were making some deep intellectual statement by leaving the test blank?" Like, imagine the teacher sitting there, grading exams, and thinking, "Ah yes, young Blackwood has transcended the need for mere answers. His blank test represents the futility of knowledge itself. 100%. I mean, it sounded ridiculous. But honestly, I wouldn't put it past my school. To confess or not to confess? Now, at this point, I had two choices. Tell the truth, admit the mistake, and probably get my actual failing grade. Shut up and accept my undeserved success. Guess which one I chose? Yeah, I shut the hell up. I wasn't about to ruin the only miracle that had ever happened in my academic life. So, I played it cool, acted like I totally knew what I was doing, and quietly moved on with my life. Final lessons from the luckiest exam ever. Sometimes, doing absolutely nothing is the best strategy. Automated grading systems might be our best hope for cheating the system. If something amazing happens by accident, just go with it. Never assume your teacher is actually paying attention. Would I try this again? Absolutely not. But if I ever have another test I'm not prepared for, I might just leave it blank and see what happens. How I sold air for money, and it actually worked. After watching one too many get-rich-quick TikToks, I had a realization. People will buy literally anything if you market it right. So I decided to test the limits of human stupidity. By selling air. Not just any air, premium, handcrafted, organic, small batch air, sealed in a jar. And somehow, people actually bought it. Here's how I launched a legitimate business venture and made real money selling literal nothing. It all started as a joke. I was hanging out with my friend Jake, scrolling through Instagram, when we saw an influencer flexing about her exclusive Himalayan spring water that cost $80 per bottle. I laughed and said, "Bro, I bet we could sell air to these people." Jake, being the enabler that he is, said, "Dude, we should actually do it." And thus, BreatheX was born, building a fake luxury brand. Obviously, I couldn't just sell regular air. No one's paying top dollar for something they can literally breathe for free. So I had to make it fancy. Here's how I marketed it. Branding. I came up with phrases like artisanal oxygen and hand-harvested from the purest regions of the world. Luxury pricing. A small jar of air? $50. A premium, extra-large, collector's edition jar? $200. Fake science. I threw in words like ionized air therapy and high-altitude purification. Exclusivity. Only 100 jars per month would be available, because, the air supply is limited. It's not. Then I made an aesthetic Instagram page full of minimalist, expensive-looking photos of our luxury air in sleek glass jars. And for the finishing touch, I got my friend Jessica, who looks like a wellness influencer, to post a video saying, "Ever since I started inhaling BreatheX air, I feel so much more energized and clear-minded. Oxygen is life." People ate it up. The moment people actually started buying. At first, I thought no one would fall for this. But within 3 days, I got my first order. A guy in Los Angeles paid $50 for a jar of air. Then another. And another. I had sold out in a week. Bro, I was literally shipping people empty jars. And they were thankful. One guy even left a review. "This air is so fresh, I swear I can feel the difference in my breathing." Dude, you're just breathing. At this point, I realized the world had lost its mind. And I was more than happy to profit off of it. Things escalated quickly. Somehow, a journalist discovered my website and wrote an article. Insane. This startup is selling bottled air for $50, and people are buying it. The article went viral. Suddenly, people were debating my business on Twitter. Some were calling me a genius, others were calling me a scammer. Meanwhile, I was just sitting there like, why are you all arguing? You could literally just not buy the air. But the controversy only made sales go up. The more people called it a scam, the more other people thought, wait, maybe there's something to this. At one point, some dude from Dubai DM'd me, asking if we could do a custom VIP batch of ultra-rare air. Bro wanted to flex on people with expensive oxygen. I gladly took his money. Now, you'd think this story ends with me becoming a millionaire. But no. Greed ruined everything. I got too cocky and decided to scale the business. I started dropshipping empty jars from China instead of using the expensive glass ones. I stopped harvesting air manually, aka just opening a jar in my backyard, and told my supplier to pre-pack them. And worst of all, I tried selling flavored air. I literally sprayed perfume into some jars and marketed them as lavender-infused relaxation air. This was the beginning of the end. The backlash and my downfall. One day, some TikTok kid bought a jar, opened it, and started roasting me on video. Bro, this is just air. No shit, shirt. The video got millions of views, and suddenly, everyone realized they had been scammed. Refund requests started flooding in. Then PayPal froze my account. Then Instagram banned my store. And just like that, my air empire collapsed overnight. People will buy anything if you make it sound fancy. Luxury pricing makes dumb things seem valuable. If you go viral for being a scammer, you're done. Flavored air was a step too far. Would I do it again? Absolutely. But next time, I'm selling moonlight-infused solar energy crystals. Only $99.99 per rock. Get yours today before they sell out. How I accidentally married a stranger on vacation. Alright, listen. Planned on getting married. At least, not like this. I was just supposed to have a normal vacation, you know, sun, drinks, maybe some bad decisions, but nothing life-altering. Instead, I woke up in a foreign country, hungover, wearing a wedding ring, and with absolutely no idea who my wife was. Here's how it happened. So, me and my buddy Jake went on this wild vacation to Mexico. The plan was simple. Party. Maybe flirt with some tourists. The first few days were a blur of tequila, questionable decisions, and me pretending I could dance salsa. Then came the night that changed everything. So, we hit this insane beach party, right? Fire dancers, unlimited margaritas, and a crowd full of people who had clearly stopped making good choices hours ago. Somewhere between shot number 8 and a karaoke performance of Livin' La Vida Loca, I blacked out. Like full movie-style blackout. Next thing I remember? I wake up in a random hotel room. My head is pounding. My mouth feels like I swallowed sand. I sit up and notice two things. There's a freaking wedding ring on my finger. I am not alone. Next to me, still fast asleep, is a woman. And I have no idea who she is. Who the hell did I marry? Panic sets in. I quietly get out of bed, trying not to wake her up, and start searching the room for clues. There's a champagne bottle, some wedding decorations, and, oh God, an official-looking marriage certificate sitting on the table. My name is on it. So is hers. Her name? Sofia Martinez. Who the hell is Sofia Martinez? At this point, I consider two options. Leave the ring, leave the country, pretend this never happened. Figure out what the hell happened before I end up on a reality TV show. I take a deep breath and decide to wake her up. I shake her shoulder gently. She groans, rolls over, then opens her eyes, and the moment she sees me, she goes, "Oh, shit." Great. She's just as confused as I am. After 10 minutes of panicked questioning, we start figuring it out. Apparently, we met at the party and really hit it off. Somehow ended up at a 24-hour chapel. Said, "I do," in front of a dude dressed as Elvis. Got matching tattoos. Yeah, that happened. Neither of us remembered any of it. But legally, we were husband and wife. Breaking the news to my friends. I text Jake, "Bro, I think I got married last night." His response, classic. Dude thought I was joking. So I sent him a picture of the marriage certificate. His next message? WTF. How? Great question, buddy. I'd love to know too. Sophia and I spent the next few hours trying to figure out what to do. She was cool as hell, but let's be real, we barely knew each other. So, after much debate, we agreed on the responsible adult decision. We were getting an annulment. Or at least, that was the plan. Because when we went to the courthouse, the lady at the desk just smiled and said, "Oh, you guys got the special tequila package. That means you have to wait 30 days before filing an annulment." 30 days. I was stuck being married to a stranger for a whole month. Since neither of us wanted to deal with lawyers yet, we decided to just roll with it. And honestly, it wasn't bad. We hung out, got to know each other, even went on fake honeymoon dates just for fun. And by the end of those 30 days, we had a serious conversation. So, should we actually stay married? For a split second, we both considered it. But reality kicked in. She lived in Spain, I lived in New York, and this whole thing had been a drunken accident. So, we finally filed for annulment. And just like that, my shortest and weirdest marriage was over. Tequila is dangerous. Never trust a 24-hour wedding chapel. If you wake up married, at least hope your spouse is cool. Getting married is easy. Getting unmarried? Not so much. Would I do it again? Would I get blackout drunk on vacation again? Also no. Okay, maybe. How I won a business competition without having a business idea. I never planned on becoming a startup founder. I had zero intention of pitching an idea, standing in front of a crowd, or, God forbid, winning a competition that required actual business knowledge. I was just there to support my friend. But thanks to a ridiculous mix-up, blind luck, and my ability to talk absolute nonsense with confidence, I somehow walked away with a $50,000 grant for a startup that didn't even exist. Here's how it happened. How I accidentally became a startup founder. So, my buddy Mike had been hyping up this business pitch competition for weeks. He had a real startup idea, something about AI-driven personal finance tools. I didn't really understand it, but he was excited, and I figured I'd tag along for moral support. The event was in this fancy co-working space, filled with young, hungry entrepreneurs in blazers, all clutching MacBooks and overpriced lattes. You could practically smell the ambition in the air. I, on the other hand, showed up in a hoodie and sneakers, fully planning to just chill, eat the free snacks, and pretend I understood startup jargon. But then, everything went wrong. Right before the competition started, some dude with a clipboard came up to me and asked, "Hey, are you here to pitch?" Now, at this point, a normal person would have just said, "No, I'm just here to watch." But me? For some reason, my brain short-circuited, and instead of correcting him, I just awkwardly nodded. Next thing I knew, I was being handed a contestant badge and was told I'd be presenting my business idea in 20 minutes. But I didn't have a business idea. I didn't even have a PowerPoint. At this point, I had two choices. Admit the mistake, go home, and never speak of this again. Completely wing it and see what happens. Naturally, I chose option number 2. Inventing a startup in 5 minutes. I ran to the bathroom, pulled out my phone, and frantically Googled trending startup ideas while trying not to have a full-blown panic attack. I saw words like blockchain, AI automation, Web3 integration, all of which meant absolutely nothing to me. So I did the only logical thing. I took a bunch of random buzzwords and mashed them together into a fake startup concept. Thus, NeuroSynergyX was born. What did it do? No clue. But it sounded fancy, which was all that mattered. When it was my turn, I walked up to the podium, cleared my throat, and completely made up everything on the spot. Ladies and gentlemen, today I introduce you to NeuroSynergyX, the first ever AI-powered neuro-optimization platform designed to revolutionize productivity through blockchain-based cognitive analytics. What does that mean? I have no idea. But the judges nodded like I had just cracked the code to unlimited wealth. So I kept going. I dropped phrases like, using a decentralized machine learning framework? What? We're leveraging deep neural pathways to maximize efficiency. Our disruptive, scalable model ensures high-impact ROI. Bro, I didn't even know what half those words meant. But here's the crazy part, the crowd ate it up. Some dude in the front row even whispered, "That's genius." At the end of my nonsense TED Talk, one of the judges asked, "So what stage is your startup at?" I panicked, but then remembered that business people love vague answers. So I confidently said, "We're in stealth mode." That was it. No one questioned it. Apparently, stealth mode just means you haven't actually built anything yet, but it sounds strategic. After all the pitches, I was fully expecting to lose. I mean, Mike had a real startup idea, and the other contestants actually had prototypes and investment plans. Meanwhile, I had pipes. So when they started announcing the winners, I was half asleep, mentally planning which snacks to steal on my way out. Then I heard, and the winner of the $50,000 grant, NeuroSynergyX. Bro, I almost choked on my water. I sat there, blinking, waiting for them to correct themselves. But no, they were dead serious. I had just won 50 grand for a business that didn't exist. The aftermath of my fake startup. After the event, investors started handing me their business cards. One guy even said, "We should discuss a funding round." At this point, I was freaking out. My fake company was suddenly real, and people were expecting me to deliver something. So what did I do? I ghosted everyone and disappeared. I literally deleted the email account I had signed up with, ignored all LinkedIn messages, and changed my name in the events database to something random. To this day, I still wonder if there's some poor investor out there trying to figure out why NeuroSynergyX never launched. Stealth mode is the perfect excuse when you have absolutely nothing. Never attend a startup event unless you actually want to start a business. Would I do it again? Maybe. But next time, I'd actually take the money.